Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services. Let us discuss today the Hindu newspaper of Delhi edition. The first topic that we are going to discuss is about India braces to evacuate nationals from Sudan. So the government of India is focusing on Operation Kaveri to rescue 3,000 stranded Indians from Sudan. 500 of them have reached the port of Sudan, says our External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. Two C-130J heavy lift aircraft and naval ship on standby for the particular mission. We need to understand a little bit background regarding the issue in the region of Sudan. So what exactly it is happening? Let us have a look related to the topic. The importance of this particular topic, it comes under your general studies too, international relations. So the Prime Minister of India asked the officials to prepare a contingency plan to safely evacuate Indians who are all stuck in Sudan region because of the clashes between the army and paramilitary forces. So, background of the Sudan crisis, which exactly started in the year of 2019. So, former Sudanese dictator Omar al-Bashir, he is an ex-army officer, came to power in military coup. Al-Bashir overthrew a democratically elected government in the year of 1989 and remained in power until he was removed from the position by the Sudanese military in the year of 2019. So the problem, first one is about transitional government. This transitional government, initially the military refused to give up power, but as popular protest continued, they agreed to take part in a transitional government made up of both civilian forces as well as army forces, army officers. The transitional government was supposed to remain in charge until democratic election could be held in the year of 2023. So this is what the exact background. In 2021, the Sudan armed forces led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan took control of the government in the military coup. The rapid support forces led by General Muhammad Hamdan has worked alongside the Sudanese army to help keep the military in power. So the recent crisis between the SAF, Sudan Armed Forces versus RSF, that is Rapid Support Forces, led by more inclined towards a transition to the civilian rule. So the leader opposed this. Moreover, the RSF to come under a unified command of the SAF. So this is what the exact crisis which is happening in the region of Sudan. Now, what is the exact condition of the diaspora, Indian diaspora living in Sudan? So, India-Sudan relations go back in the history to the time of Indus Valley civilization itself. So far, around 30 bilateral agreements signed by India with the Sudan in terms of trade aspects, science, technology, media, culture, consultations, business, small industries, all the legal matters, air services, agriculture. So these are all the areas, the 30 bilateral agreements signed between India and Sudan. So recently in the news about Hakki Piki tribe also. The huge demand for Ayurvedic products in the African continent, as the Sudanese were unable to afford expensive English medicines, they had been looking for cheaper and effective alternatives. The Hakki Pikis have the traditional medicinal knowledge, and the community members have been traveling to the continent for the last many years. They carried the herbs and other medicines required for the treatment from India and sold the items there. So now these people also got struck in terms of this crisis. So now in the context of this particular news, we need to understand about the background of the Sudan location in the African continent as well. So exactly it was located in the northeast part of Africa. It is bounded on the north by Egypt, on the east by Red Sea, and in the east again Ethiopia, on the south by South Sudan, as well as Central African Republic, in the west Chad and the northwest Libya. These are all the countries which is surrounded by Sudan. The capital is Khartoum. So in this particular article, government is talking about Operation Kaveri as well. It is a rescue operation being carried out by the Indian government to bring back Indian citizens stranded in the region of Sudan. According to the official data, the number of Indians in Sudan is around 4,000. As part of the operation, two C-130 aircraft and the Navy ship name called INS Sumeda is on standby to safely evacuate stranded Indians. Why we need this evacuation? Sudan has been witnessing deadly fighting between the country's army and paramilitary group, that is RSF, Rapid Support Force, that has reportedly left several hundreds of people dead in that region. So the cause of fighting, we know that there is a disagreement between these two groups. So the civilian government backed to form a plan for this particular attack. So these are all the in detail report regarding the Operation Kaveri. Moving towards the next important topic. Next important topic that we are going to focus related to collegium system. The collegium system, which was there in the news page, we need to give some attention towards it. What is this collegium system? It is about the appointment of the judges. Supreme Court set a date to hear plea to abolish the collegium system. The Supreme Court on Monday said it will give a date for the hearing of a petition seeking the abolition of collegium system of judicial appointments to the Supreme Courts and High Courts. So this is the argument is going to happen whether it's going to abolish or not. So we need to understand about what is this collegium system and how it got evolved and what are the other background information that we need to acquire. See, Article 124, Clause 2 and Article 217 of the Indian Constitution deal with the appointment of the judges to the Supreme Court and High Courts. So this collegium system exactly got evolved through the judgments of the Supreme Court and not any act by the Parliament or any provisions of the Constitution. It is completely based on the verdict given by the Supreme Court. So, evaluation of system 1981 is the first judge case regarding declared the primacy of the CJI, Chief Justice of India, recommendation of the judicial appointments, and transfer can be refused. So, this ruling came into existence, judicial appointment for the next 12 years based on this format only. Second judge case in the year of 1993, this exactly provides Supreme Court introduced the collegium system. This collegium system holding the consultation really meant on the concurrence. It added that it was not the CJI's individual opinion, but also an institutional opinion formed in the consultation with the two senior most judges in the Supreme Court. The third judge case in the year of 1998 stated that Supreme Court on the precedent reference under Article 143 expanded the collegium system into the five-member body, comprising the Chief Justice of India and four senior most colleagues of the Supreme Court. So these are all the evolution of the collegium system. So the procedures of the judicial appointments, CJI, Supreme Court judges, and Chief Justice of High Courts. Now we need to understand why this petition is heard by the Supreme Court and what are the issues that we are facing in this collegium system. Exclusion of the executives. So the complete exclusion of the executives from the judicial appointment process created a system where a few judges appoint the rest in complete secrecy. So there is no involvement of executives in terms of appointment of the judges. And there is a lot of chances in terms of favorism and nepotism. Appointment of the judges based on the favor. Because this collegium system does not provide any specific criteria for testing the candidate because it is completely recommendation based on the collegium body against the principles of checks and balances. The principle of check and balance is violated in this system because see, in India we do have three organs work partially independently, but they keep check and balances and control on excessive powers of any organ. However, the collegium system gives judiciary immense power to take a decision on individual, and also it is considered as the closed door mechanism. Closed door mechanism, the critics have pointed out that the system does not involve any official secretariat as well. Last one is about the unequal representation. The other area of concern is the composition of higher judiciary. Women are fairly underrepresented in the higher judiciary as well. So these are all the issues that we are facing in terms of collegium system. And you guys understood today about the background of what is this exact collegium system as well. So now go through this topic, then it's easy for you to understand. Next one is about demystifying Keswananda Bharati case. Web page delves deep into history. So here they're talking about the Keswananda Bharati case. Chief Justice of India come up with the announcement that the Supreme Court has created a special web page for Keswananda Bharati case, which a 13-judge bench, the largest constituted in the court's history, through a wafer-thin majority of 7 to 6 held the parliament cannot amend the basic structure of the constitution. This is what exact the context regarding this particular article. We'll discuss in depth about what exactly they are stating about. Remember, the Supreme Court now they wanted to come up with a separate web page. There, the complete submission, petitions, judgments in the historic case, also called the fundamental rights cases. So the CJI had recently compared the basic structure of the Constitution to the North Star, an unfailing guide which showed the way when the path appears converted. So let us have a brief look of this Kesavananda Bharati case. We need to understand about this case. In the year of 1973, the landmark judgment of the Supreme Court that established the doctrine of basic structure of the Constitution. So what are the doctrines that expanded by the Supreme Court verdict related to basic structure of the Constitution? The case was filled by Keswananda Bharati, a religious seal which used to head the MIT in Kerala, who challenged the constitutionality of some land reform laws that was enacted by the state government. He argued that these laws violated the fundamental rights, particularly in terms of property and to manage the religious affairs. It is directly violating the fundamental rights of any individual. The case was heard by 13-judge bench, the largest ever in the history of Supreme Court. The main issue before the court regarding this particular case, whether the parliament had unlimited power to amend any part of the constitution, including fundamental rights or not. So based on this, 7 is to 6 verdict came into existence with the majority holding that parliament had wide powers to amend the constitution. But under one circumstance, it could not alter or destroy its basic structure or basic framework of the Indian constitution. The basic doctrine was a novel concept that was not defined clearly by the court, but it implied it certain features of the Indian constitution such as democracy, secularism, federalism, judicial independence, All these were essential and inviolable and could not be abrogated or diluted by any amendment. So the significance what we need to understand is establish the limits of parliamentary sovereignty and preserve the core values of the constitution. This is the exact background regarding your case one and the Bharati case. So when this particular website came into existence, all the historical verdict can be recorded there. So it is highly possible for us to understand. Next is about vibrant villages planned to be merged with PM Gati Sakti. The Center Ambitious Vibrant Village Program (VVP), which aims to develop infrastructure and open up village along the China border to tourists, will be integrated with the Prime Minister Gati Shakti mega project. So we need to understand this Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So the digital platform of this Gati Shakti project brings around 16 ministries, including railways, highways, together for integrated planning and coordinated implementation of infrastructure connectivity projects and allows departments to break operational silos. This is what the exact context in our newspaper. We need to understand the background of this PM Gati Shakti master plan. So the PM emphasized to make PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan as the base for their projects and economic zones. The government has made 7.5 trillion US dollar as a capital allocation in the budget for 2020 to 2023 as against 5.54 trillion in the last year for this particular project. In October 2021, the government announced this PM Gati Shakti program under a portal would be set up to bring around 16 ministries together for the integrated planning and implementation of the infrastructure connectivity projects. So the portal is expected to ready and also more than 400 data layers are now available on the portal which give information on just existing and proposed infrastructure available in the industrial estate. So this is what the exact context. So on the 75th Independence Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that Central will launch this PM Gati Shakti Master Plan. So 100 lakh crore project for the development of holistic infrastructure. So it will incorporate the infrastructure schemes, various ministries like Bharat Mala project, Sagar Mala project, inland waterways, dry dryland ports, Udan, all this. Okay, economic zones like textile clusters, paramedical clusters, defense corridors, everything like incorporated in this particular plan. So we need to understand the six important pillars of this particular plan. Six pillars. The first one is comprehensiveness. The second one is about prioritization. Third one is about synchronization. Fourth one is about optimization. Sixth one is about analytical. Fifth one is about analytical. The last one is about dynamic. So these are all the information you're supposed to acquire for this particular topic. Let us move towards the next topic. It is regarding the malaria. So malaria is said to be notifiable disease across India even as cases show a decline. So malaria is all said to become a notifiable disease across India with Bihar, Andaman and Nicobar Island and Meghalaya too. In the process of putting the vector-borne disease in category, remember this is very important article for us. 25th April World Malaria Day 2023 was observed. So, in this particular article, they are talking about how India is keep checking about eradicating the malaria. So, let us have a look of this particular day important. This year theme of World Malaria Day 2023, 25th of April. The theme is Time to Deliver Zero Malaria. Invest, innovate, and implement. This is the theme of the World Malaria Day. So it marked under this particular theme, WHO are focusing on raising awareness about the need to implement the tools and strategies we have available today to reach those who continue to be unreached across the Western Pacific. So remember, this particular day is observed by the United Nations all around the world. So just go through this particular topic, which gives you an idea about how India is focusing on this malaria free. So apart from that, these are all the important areas to be focused for the day. Apart from these topics, I just want to give you about other important topics where you can give attention for the day to prepare on your own. Let us go from the editorial page. Before that, we don't have that much important article to be read. Yes. Pending bill, the issue of gubernatorial inaction. It is again regarding the Article 200 about the bills, the power of governor in terms of the state legislative passing the bill. More number of articles were present regarding the same in the past days. We discussed about this article 200 in depth. Just go through this topic, you will get an idea about the comparison in the United Kingdom as well as India. Next, that you can give interest, important towards the Indian diplomacy and the horses of interest. It is regarding about the first visit of Ukraine's deputy to India about that concern. Just read and go through that topic so you get a complete idea regarding the Ukraine visit to India. Apart from that, where you can give more focus is like India, China holds frank and in-depth talks regarding the border. So 18th round of talks between the senior military commanders was held on the Chinese side of the Chuzal-Molda border meeting point. You know about there is a lot of issue happened regarding the border between India and China. Just go through this topic. Right. So apart from that, no other important topics of the day. You just go through the topics which I highlighted here. See you tomorrow. Stay tuned.